A cost sheet is an exercise in collection of information regarding all the costs incurred in the industry and arranging them in a certain order. So a cost sheet is nothing but once we know that these are the fixed cost, variable cost, direct, indirect, production, non-production. Once you know all this, you arrange them in a particular order so that it helps in comparability of month on month or year on year. Okay, and it helps us to reduce, to find out where our costs are incurred and how we could reduce it. Okay, so there are like many formats here, but we'll see the format as we progress. If we start mugging up now, we'll only keep on mugging up. Okay, we can't like understand their logic. It is better that we do problem by problem and then understand it. Okay, so cost sheet is a collection of cost data in a particular format. Okay, in a particular format. So we will move on to the problem so that you will get an idea. So we'll start from this problem. This is problem number 1. It's a cost sheet problem. So show the cost and profit from the following information, which includes material consumed, prime cost, works cost, cost of production, cost of sales, and profit. Okay, so I think something is like written, and sales. Okay, so it says also and sales. I think if we and sales. So this is what the information we have to find. So materials purchased is going to be 1 lakh, wages is 2 lakhs, direct expense is 10,000, opening stock of materials, I think that is raw materials, is 30,000, closing stock of material is 50,000. So factory overhead, okay, the factory overhead is absorbed at 10% of wages. So whatever is the wage, the factory cost is going to be 10% of it, and administration cost is going to be 20% of something called as works cost. Selling overheads are 10% of cost of production. Okay, profit is 25% on sales. So let's work out here. So now I think we could start with the format. So the format works like this. It starts from the opening stock of material. How much stocks did we have in the beginning? How much we have bought? Okay, and additional cost of bringing it. How much of them is still lying in the closing stock? How much of them have been returned? So this will tell you the direct materials, okay, consumed or used. Direct materials used. So from there you add the direct labor and direct expense. Okay, so why do we have this all and all as direct? Direct means you can identify it with the final product. So all these put together, it's called as a prime cost. Okay, all the direct costs put together are prime cost. From there on you add the factory cost. Okay, so factory cost is factory overheads. Okay, so factory overheads you produce. Okay, up to here you produce. Some you already produced certain items. Okay, for example, you are producing 100 items now, right? 100 items you are producing now. 10 you have already produced, so that also you are like producing now. 20 you are not going to produce. Okay, it's going to be it is still in semi-finished stage. Okay, so how many units have been like completed? Totally completed is only 90 units have been completed. So you have to add only the cost for 90 units. Okay, so find out the factory cost. What's the cost incurred up to the for example, shirt means total shirt per shirt price, then that conversion price up to the factory. Okay, then add the non-production costs like administration, selling, distribution, all that you add. So once you add all those non-production costs, you get cost of production. Okay, you get cost of production. With the cost of production, see, your closing stock value would stop till here. Okay, and the cost of production and all are just what to say, it goes to P&L, but still you have to show this in the cost sheet. So cost sheet tells you like what's the total cost of producing a products. Okay, so this also has opening stock, closing stock. What we want is what is the total number of units that are sold. For example, we produced 100 units till now. Okay, fully finished units 100, but already we had in godown 30 units, and now 10 units is not going to be sold. It is like still withheld. So how many units have you sold? You have sold 120 units. So for 120 units only you have to find out cost of goods sold. So once you find that, add the selling expense, you will get the total cost and the reduce it from the sales. Okay, so once we do the sums slowly by slowly, you will pick up the items. Okay, so if you want to find out all these in a one shot, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. What we could do is we can slowly learn it, right? So we'll start here. So materials purchased is 1 lakh. We don't have opening or anything. Purchased alone is there. So that comes to 1 lakh. We'll put it in the inner column. On the outer column, we'll put only the bolded items. That bolded items alone, we'll put it in the outer column. Okay. So this comes to 1 lakh. Wages. So totally here, how much it comes to? It comes to 1 lakh. Right. This we'll put it on the outside. So wages is wages, where we have it. Okay, wages we have 2 lakhs. So wages is direct labor. So put together it comes to 3 lakhs. And 3 lakhs you have to put it on the outer column. Okay. So you don't need to add anything here. You're not adding anything here. So the outer item that we put is just to show that what is that item's total value. Okay, direct material use is just 1 lakh and prime cost is 3 lakhs. So we'll see the next items. We have direct expense. Sorry, we have direct expense. So that is direct expense is 10,000. So if you put it, the total prime cost comes to 3 lakh 10,000. So this goes to the outside. Done. What's the next one? The next one is, okay, we have opening and closing stock. Okay, so we have not adjusted that. We'll adjust it now. Opening and closing stock of material. So opening stock of material is 30,000 and closing stock of material is 50,000. So what is the total materials used? Total materials used is, 1 second, we'll just put a minus symbol here. So we'll add all this. It comes to 80,000. So the total materials used is only 80,000. And 2 lakhs is direct material and expense. This is expense. So we'll add all this. It comes to 2,90,000. 2,90,000. As we are doing in Excel, we can delete and we can enter it. It is quite easy. But when we do it in a paper, we have to be like very extremely careful. Okay. So the next one is factory overheads. See, factory overheads is this number. Okay, factory cost or factory overheads are both same. We can't have the word factory cost because both things are like confusing here. So we'll put this word as for overhead. Okay, so overhead and the expense are similar. Okay, cost means it's a total. Okay, it's a cost. So you could see here, prime is a cost, factory is a cost, cost of production, cost of goods sold. So cost are usually the headings. Okay. The expense or overheads are something which comes inside here. Okay, so factory overhead is absorbed at 10% of wages. So what is the wages? Wages is 2 lakhs. So 2 lakhs into 10% should be the factory overhead. So that would become 20,000. So add this. We don't have any opening or closing work in progress. So the total cost comes to here. Okay, it comes to 3,10,000. So you can put this on the outer side. Okay, it comes to 3,10,000. And he says administration cost is 20% of works cost. Okay, so what is works cost? So this is the works cost. Out of this we have 20%. So 3,10,000 into 20%. So that comes to 62,000. So your cost of production is going to be 3,72,000. So we don't have opening finished goods and closing finished goods. We don't have, but we have selling overheads. So selling overheads is 10% of cost of production. So we can put here. So it's 3,72,000 into 10%. So that comes to 37,200. So add both, you get 4,09,200. So that is going to be your cost of goods sold. Okay, we don't okay, I think that was sorry, that was our selling overhead. Okay, so we should put it here. Cost of goods sold, it's the same amount. Okay, it's the same amount because these numbers are just 0 0. Okay, so the same 3,72 will again come here. So this is going to be our sales expense, and 4,09,200 would be our okay, this would be our total cost. So now our last step is to find out the profit. Okay, so he is not giving the sales price, so that is what we have to find. So what is going to be our profit? So profit, if you see, it's 25% on sales amount itself is not there. So how can we work out? It's very simple here. So sales amount, profit, or we'll put this profit and cost, right? See, he says that if your sales is 100, your profit would be 25% on the sales. So this should be 25, right? Then what should be your cost? Cost plus profit is sales, right? Cost plus profit is usually sales. So this should be 75. Okay. So how did we find out 100? 100 is an assumption. 100 is an assumption. I just made it. 25 is 25% of 100. Okay. So this is a balancing figure. This is how I found it. So once you have found out this, then it's quite easy to find out the balance. Okay. Which number of these three you know? We know the cost information. Cost information is 4,09,200. This information we know. What do we want? We want profit information. So how do we work out is, this 4,09,200 represents which number? It represents 75. But do we want 75? No, we want 25. So you can solve now. You will get the answer. So what is this number? This number is 1,36,400. So your profit is 1,36,400. Okay. So add this also. You will get your sales amount. Okay, we'll put it here. You will get your sales amount. So what is your sales amount? Your sales amount is 5,45,600. Done. So that's about the problem here. Okay. So this is how you have to find out the profit, and this is our cost sheet. Your job is very simple here. You have to ensure that you memorized the cost sheet really well, right? And any numbers which are like heading items like this, usually they are named as cost, and any items which are coming inside it. Okay, for example, this number, factory cost, factory overhead, and factory cost. Factory cost is heading, factory overhead or factory expense is a inside item. Okay, factory cost or works cost is a heading item. Okay, so ensure that you understand that difference here. So that's about this problem. Okay, we'll move on to the next problem. So we'll start with this problem. So this is your problem number 2. So here they asked us, ABC Co produced 20,000 units of a product. The following were the cost. We have to prepare a cost sheet with the cost per unit. Okay, so we have to find out the cost per unit. So we have the opening stock of raw materials, closing stock of raw materials, purchase of raw materials, direct labor, direct expense, factory expense, admin expense, and selling expense. So our job is like very simple here. We have to just put it in the particular formats here. So our opening stock is going to be 5,000, and our closing stock is going to be 15,000 and the purchase of raw material is 1,50,000. So put together these numbers come to 1,40,000. Okay, so we'll also find out the cost per unit at each stage. So totally 20,000 units have been produced as well as sold. Okay, so we can put it in this manner. So direct labor we have 60,000 and direct expense we have as 20,000. So all these put together it comes to 2,20,000. So this 2,20,000 we can put outside and the cost per unit we can find it out like this. So that comes to 11. So the next is going to be direct factory expense. So factory expense or overheads. So if you want, we'll just change the word. So factory expense is going to be 30,000 and put together it's going to be 2,50,000. So our works cost or factory cost is 2,50,000. So we got our cost per unit there also. From there we have expenses like admin expense and selling expense. So we could see we can add elements if we want. We have okay, admin expense we have. Admin expense comes to 40,500. So put together it is 2,90,500. So there's no opening stock or closing stock. So again, this number is going to be the same as this. And we have selling expense we have, so that is 18,200. So our total cost is going to be 3,08,700. So we have come up with the total cost here. So our total cost is going to be this number and the cost per unit is this number. So this question is not asking us to find out the profit here. Okay, so this is a very simple sum, like similar to the last sum we had. In the last sum we had to find out percentages. Here it is like quite straightforward. Okay, that's about this sum. We'll move on to the third sum. So this is going to be our third sum and we'll take the same format that we had earlier. So we can start from this problem. So this problem is little bit detailed in nature. So what we'll do is we'll first read the question, then we'll start to work out the problem. So the following details have been obtained from the records of ARCO. The opening stock is 80,000. The closing stock of raw material is 90,000. Direct wage is there. Factory wages is there. Sales is given, so we can easily find out the profit. Work in progress is there. So work in progress is this numbers. So work in progress is there. Purchase of raw materials is there. Electricity, depreciation, and expense on purchase. So expense on purchase is like while purchasing, have we paid any expense for raw materials? Okay, and the transport of goods to customers. So that's it's a part of sales expense. Okay, because it is like part of the expense incurred for the customer. Advertising against a selling expense. Office rent is a administration expense. Salesman salary, it's a sales expense. And we have the stock of finished goods worth, we have it. Okay. Again, opening stock, closing stock we have. Prepare a cost sheet giving the maximum possible breakup of costs and profit, he asks. Okay. So he's not asking for cost per unit, so we can remove that. The other numbers we'll work it out. So we'll start. So the totaling of all the numbers we'll do later. First we'll first like insert the numbers here. So the first number is going to be opening stock of raw material, which is 80,000. Closing stock is going to be 90,000. Direct wages is 40,000. Then we have factory wages. So factory wages is 3,050. Then we have work in progress opening. So opening work in progress is 30,000. And closing work in progress is a negative number. So it is a 34,000 minus. Then we have purchase of raw material. So purchase of raw material, we have to put it here. That comes to 50,000. And the next one we have is electricity of factory. So electricity of factory, we have to put it here. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll add some lines. So we had factory, I think that was wages. The earlier one was wages. So factory wages is this number, and factory expenses, I think we have another expense called as electricity for factory. So electricity for factory is 12,000. Then we have depreciation for machinery. So machines are in the factory, so they get depreciated in that place only. So we can add that expense also. So depreciation for machinery is a factory expense. So if you want, okay, you can put all these expense inside and you can take the expense outside, or you can just like add it here itself. Okay, that won't be a problem. So any other expense we have expense on purchase. So that is 1,600. So expense on purchase, when we bought, we have spent some item, some cost, that comes to 1,600. So the next one is transport of goods to customers. So that is a sales expense. So we could add it here. So that comes to 2,600. And then we have office rent. So office rent is an administration expense. So office rent is 2,300. Okay, I think we left one. Advertising we left, so we'll put advertising here. advertising is 2200. So we have advertising of 2200. Then we have office rent, we have put salesman salary is there. Salesman salary is there, and the salesman salary comes to 5000. And stock of finished goods, so we have opening stock of finished goods which is 52,000, and the closing stock of finished goods, which has to be a negative number, is 21,000. So let's close this and we'll get the answer. So the total raw materials consumed would be 41,600, and the prime cost is 81,600, and adding your prime cost with the opening and all these numbers put together, okay, that comes to 96,850. And our cost of production, that comes to 99,150. And adjusting for the opening and closing stock of finished goods, that comes to 1,30,150. And the cost of goods sold plus adding all the sales expense, that comes to 1,39,950. So we got that number. And do we have sales number? So we'll just check that. So sales value is this one, 2,52,000. So our sales value is this much. So the difference between here, it's going to be the profit. Okay. So 2,52,000 is the sales value and the 1,39,000 is the cost value. So this is our balancing figure. Okay. So that's about this sum. We'll move on to the next sum. So ensure that you put the numbers outside like this so that it would be like neat. Okay. And you don't, if you want, you can put the headings. Okay, for example, it's like sales overheads like that, or admin overheads, or factory overheads like that, you can put, or you can just simply like add on like this, so that doesn't matter. So this is how you could do this sum. So I think we could move on to the next sum.